It always began at night. Georgia would fall asleep, and then the dream would return. He would see the faces of the 50 men he buried. Long ago in the village of Atiba, there lived a chief named Efa. He was a great hunter, strong and respected. He had one son, Georgia Efa, but the boy's mother had died the very day he was born. Efa raised the boy alone, and from a very young age, Georgia followed his father into the forest. They hunted together with bows and arrows, for in those days, no one had guns. Hunting was hard, and it required courage. Efa taught his son to be brave, silent, and sharp-eyed. By the time Georgia was just 7 years old, he could hit a lizard from a far distance. Birds, squirrels, even bush rats, nothing escaped him. When Georgia was 10, his father died suddenly. The boy was left alone and became the head of the household. But he was still just a child. The household slaves did not respect him. They whispered behind his back. They grew angry. One night, Georgia overheard them planning to kill him. Frightened, Georgia fled deep into the bush with only a small bow and some arrows. He had no food. For days, he survived on palm nuts and hunted tiny creatures, rats, birds, and lizards. He made a bed in the hollow of an old iroko tree. That's when he had the dream. His father appeared to him and spoke. "There is treasure buried in the earth," the old chief said. "Go to the place I showed you, and you will find it." Georgia woke with his heart pounding. But he was afraid. He was still too young, and the forest was wide and wild. One day, after walking for hours, he came to a quiet lake. His lips were dry, and his stomach hurt with thirst. As he knelt to drink, he heard a hissing sound, followed by a voice. "Do not drink from this water." He looked around. No one was there. The voice came again. Terrified, Georgia ran. The next morning, while looking for food, he met an old woman. Her hair was long and gray, hanging over her face like a veil. Her eyes were deep and strange. Her skin was wrinkled and dark like old leather. Georgia wanted to run again, but the woman raised her hand. "Do not fear me," she said. "It was I who warned you at the lake. There is a dark spirit there that would have killed you." She led him to a clear stream nearby and reached into the water. From it, she pulled a small, shining stone. It sparkled like the sun in the morning. She handed it to Georgia. "This is no ordinary stone," she said. "It listens. It remembers. It gives. Take it to the place your father told you of. Dig there. You will find treasure. Buy 2 strong slaves and build a house far away in the forest. Keep this stone in the innermost room. Whenever you want anything, speak to it, and your wish will come true." Georgia did exactly as she said. He found the place from his dream, dug deep, and uncovered hidden treasure, bags of cowries and iron rods. He went to a market and bought 2 strong slaves. Together, they built a fine house in the middle of the forest. It had many rooms, and in the deepest room, Georgia placed the stone. Everything changed after that. Whenever he needed something, he would enter the room, speak to the stone, and it would appear. Food, clothes, money, everything. Years passed. Georgia grew into a man. He became rich. He bought more slaves. He traded with arrow merchants who dealt in powerful medicines and human traffic. In time, Georgia built a town of his own, with walls and courtyards. But his heart still wanted more. He wanted his father's place. He wanted to rule Atiba. One night, the old woman appeared in his dream again. "You have enough," she said. "Return the stone to the stream." But Georgia refused. He gathered all his slaves and called for juju men and witch hunters. He told them, "I will go to take my father's throne. But I must know who among my slaves has a wicked heart." The juju men pointed to 50 of them. "They are witches," they said. They will try to kill you. Georgia had them tied and tested with the deadly Ezra bean. The poison works slowly. If you vomit, you live. If you do not, you die in pain. None of the 50 survived. They were buried quickly. Georgia then marched into inn with his slaves and took over the chief's house. He declared himself ruler. People feared him. His town grew. His riches grew. But then, the dreams returned. The dead slaves came to him at night, whispering, choking him, sucking his blood. He became weak and pale. He called for the juju men again. You are being haunted, they said. The witches you buried still walk. You must ban them. So Georgia gathered 10 powerful juju men. They dug up the bodies. To their horror, the corpses had not decayed. They looked fresh, as if they had just died. One by one, Georgia had them thrown into fire. Smoke rose high into the sky. Ashes scattered across the land. After that, the haunting stopped. Georgia regained his health. He ruled the whole inn country, just as he had always wanted. But something had changed. The stone in his room no longer shone as brightly. It grew dim, as if it were watching him, waiting. And ever since that day, in the lands around Atiba, whenever someone is accused of being a witch, they are tested with the Ezra bean. If they vomit, they are innocent. If they cannot, they die in pain. Some say Georgia's stone still lies in the forest, waiting for a new voice to command it. Others say the ghost of the 50 still walk the edges of the town, looking for someone to follow home. But one thing is certain, power given by spirits always comes with a price.